Today we're going to show you how to install the brass L adapter on a new installation. So the servo motor is connected. We've removed the ball joint connector that held the boat throttle cable to the throttle arm. So the first thing we're going to do is install the brass L adapter, making sure the washer is on the brass L adapter side, which will allow the brass L adapter to always be able to swivel. It should never be locked in position. So we're going to tighten that up, nice and snug, but making sure that it can swivel. There we go. Now the throttle handle is advanced just slightly into gear for this process. We're going to slide the cable over the brass L and tighten up the brass nut 6 or 7 times onto the threaded rod. And we can adjust that a little bit later if need be. So the only adjustment really for the brass L is that threaded piece. So the key is to make sure that the threaded piece allows the brass L to be snugged up so there's no gap right here. You want this brass hex nut and the threaded rod to basically gently touch when the throttle is in neutral. So there should be no gap here, no inner stainless cable showing. So we'll tighten up those 2 nuts. And that looks pretty good. And just to confirm everything was done correctly, with the key off, if you turn the knob back and forth with your hand, you'll notice that nothing moves here. And this is what it should look like. Anytime you turn the knob, when the boat is in neutral, nothing should be able to move here, which confirms you've done a good job with your installation. Now we are showing you a poor installation where there's a gap in the cable between that brass hex nut and the threaded rod. So now if you turn the knob back and forth, you'll notice that the cable is moving and the gap is closing. So if you were to start the engine right now, PerfectPass will do an auto tighten check by turning that knob clockwise, in which case it would close that gap and the engine speed would throttle up. So this is an incorrect installation. To correct it, you would simply loosen those 10mm nuts, adjust the brass L along the threaded rod so that gap is gone. Here's an example of a poor installation with a large gap. Now, there's not a lot of room to adjust the brass L down the threaded rod, so an easy solution is simply to flip the brass L adapter forward. So remove it from the threaded rod, flip the brass L the other way. That gives you more room to adjust. Tighten things up, make sure everything's nice and snug. You can advance the handle forward if you need a little room to work. When you go back to neutral, you'll notice your gap is gone and everything looks good. If you move the knob back and forth, everything is now snugged up.